Okay, all good. Welcome back to my channel. This is week 8 of The Artist's Way. Let me get a thumbnail. Okay, so welcome to week 8. Also, this is not like a news channel, but I just want you to know that there's a new pope, new American pope just dropped. He's from Chicago. You know, as a cradle Catholic, I feel like I need to let everybody know. But yeah, so that's cool. But welcome to week 8 of The Artist's Way. Honestly, I feel like this has probably been my favorite chapter so far, just because it's a lot. She went over like a lot of things that I feel like I've always struggled with. So first up, okay, one of the first things that, oh, also, fun fact, she was married, Julia Cameron, she was married to Martin Scorsese, and they have a daughter together. That's just so random. I never knew that, but yeah, fun fact. So, one of the first things she talks about is survival, and when she talks about survival, it's talking about like dealing with losses. So like the loss of like hope, money, and loss obviously like losing. So like if you entered like a contest and you don't win, if you know, audition for a spot on a TV show and you don't get it, kind of like dealing with that and using it as sort of like dealing with that and just kind of like using it as fuel to keep going. She talks about the ivory power, which is acknowledging these self-induced wounds. So for example, an example she uses is Grace was offered an art scholarship in another city but doesn't want to leave Jerry, her boyfriend, so she turns down the scholarship. So sort of like self-sabotaging in a sense. She talks about how these things make us bitter in later years when you like really think about it. The next thing she talks about is gain disguised as loss. So she says that loss is a gain in framing. Like if you change the framing, it's a gain. So if you focus on what was left behind, you're always going to be stuck there. Whereas like, you know, more things are going to come your way. Like you have to believe that. And like, it's like, how can that save you? It's because you have to take action. So you have to like take action. Like if somebody says no, you have to find a way around it. And also sometimes you have to like nurture your artist. So if something happens, you kind of have to, you know, just like feel the feelings and then just keep moving. Like the time's gonna go forward nonetheless, which is the next thing that she talks about, which is age and time, which are a product and a process. So whenever, like I always think like, you know, by the time one example that she uses is when people are like, do you know how old I'll be by the time I learn to blank? Like, yes, you're gonna still be that age regardless. Like either way, you're still gonna turn, you know, 40, 45, 50. You're still gonna turn that age, but are you gonna do it knowing like how to play piano, having your master's degree or your bachelor's or whatever? Like either way, that's still gonna happen regardless. You can't change that. You can change if you're gonna know these things that you want to know. So she went to film school when she was like 35. She was like, you know what, like I'm gonna do it, whatever. She was the oldest person, but she had more life experience, so a lot of her stuff was much more interesting than, you know, the younger people in the class. And when people are like, oh, it's gonna take like a year to learn, like that's fine. Are you gonna start today, or in a year from now, are you gonna regret like not starting a year ago, you know? And then the next thing she talks about is filling the form, which is starting small. I would relate this to, what is that book called? Atomic Habits. Like, start small. Like, if I were learning piano, I would learn how to do, like, you know, a C chord today, and then tomorrow I'll learn a D chord, and then I'll learn an E chord, and an E minor, you know, like, all that stuff. Like, it adds up. Like, this water bottle, it's gonna add up. Like, you know? Oh. And then, so next we went over early patternings and exercise. So it's kind of things that maybe like blocked us as children. So the person I remember who believed in me was blank. I remember one time when blank. So like that was like a positive pattern for me as a child. But yeah, so, and then we did some affirmations, and I chose a couple. I chose, I am a talented person. My creativity is appreciated. I accept hope. I now act affirmatively. Oh, I now share my creativity more openly. So that's been like a really important one for me because I've always kind of like hidden stuff, whereas like now I'm just kind of like slowly letting it out. And then I don't have any check-ins, but I did miss one day of my morning pages. I just didn't feel like doing it, and my period was coming. I just give up all hope when my period's coming in. Yeah. But I'm fine now. We're good. Morning pages are doing good. I feel like now, whereas like a couple of weeks ago I was kind of giving up on them, whereas like now I like fill the pages. I'm like I have to talk about this. So yeah, it's been really great. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you for watching, and we'll check in next week for week 9. Okay, bye. Um, 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 uh, uh, um, uh,